we got a lot to get to. Ryan McCarthy now joins us. How are you, my friend? Great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And just want to show what t-shirt I'm wearing this afternoon.
Let's see it. The Firebirds.
Go Birds, go.
The Firebirds.
These birds, not the eagle.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I want to get a shirt of every AFL team that's back. You know, I want to get a shirt of every AFL team that I used to watch: Iowa Barnstormers, Arizona Rattlers, Albany Firebirds, and I love both the Firebirds logos and both the Firebirds helmets that they have.
If my buddy Jeff Levac, team president, is hearing me, retro night. We need a retro night with the retro helmets, the Zubaz uniforms. Bring it all back, baby. Come on, let's go.
Got to have that. Got to have that. Ryan McCarthy joining us here as he does every Monday. All right. The CFL division finals are set. And one is a rematch. It's kind of the one that they're both rematches. That's right. They're both rematches. Let's start in Toronto. And they're both on Saturday this year, as we've talked about before. 3 p.m. Eastern, the Montreal Alouettes take on the Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah.
Nothing against the Alouettes, but good luck. Good luck stopping this crew.
And I'm an Alouettes fan too.
Right.
So it's gonna be a chore. It's gonna be a chore. I'm looking forward to it. Look, the Alouettes haven't beaten any of the good teams this year. They have not beaten Winnipeg. They have not beaten BC. They have not beaten Toronto.
No.
Playoffs are a different animal.
Anything
can happen in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to this game in a sense that I want to see which Alouettes team is going to come out. Is the team going to be the stout team on defense last week when they clamped down on the Hamilton Tiger Cats? Or are we going to see the imitation Alouettes from the past, or the imitation of what their team should be, which is run the ball heavy, get some chunk plays when they can, especially from their receivers, Austin Mack, Tyler Sneed, Williams hitting the ball, Williams Standback. I think that's what they're going to have to do to beat Toronto is keep the ball out of the hands of Chad Kelly. If you keep the ball, if you win the time of possession game, I think Alouettes have a chance. But on the flip side,
yeah.
On the flip side, Toronto's defense is pretty good too.
Yep. I think Toronto had one of the top 3 defenses in the CFL, if memory serves me correct, this year, because I don't think they allowed a 30-point game this year. I do not think they allowed 30 points.
Well,
wait a minute, I take that back. Yes, they did. They allowed one. They allowed one 30-point game, but it was a shootout. It was a shootout. And I want to say it was Calgary that gave them that 30-point game, but I believe that's the only one they allowed. Keep the ball out of Kelly's hands. Let me see. The Jets had that problem keeping the ball out of Jim Kelly's hands. So now you have.
Can we not bring up the past? Come on.
You said Kelly, all right? I'm making. What number do they both wear?
Yeah, I know. Toronto allowed over more than 30 points 4 times.
4 times. Okay. All right. Live research.
2 were wins, 1 was losses. Live real-time research. RTR.
Real-time research. You got to get a sponsor for that, and I think we can. But aside of keeping the ball out of Chad Kelly's hands, what else can the Alouettes do to score an upset in what is going to be a loud, full, raucous BMO Field? Because the Grey Cup goes through Toronto this year. They have the best record.
Oh, absolutely. No, I don't disagree there. And have you seen the highlights of the 1-yard pooch kick that they do? When it's second and long, and They do that play. They do that screen out to the backwards pass out to the running back, and he just punts on the ground for 1 yard, recovers it, new set of downs. Brilliant.
Yep.
I gotta give full credit to Jason Moss for putting it. I don't know if it was Jason Moss or a special teams coach for implementing that, but that's a brilliant play. It's a brilliant play. I mean, Branch Rickey said it best. Luck is the residue of design.
Yes.
They're gonna need some luck. I would say the Alouettes are gonna need some luck, because they're playing a team that absolutely pounded them into the ground 3 different times this year.
And each one got worse.
Every single time. But again, this is the playoffs. This is a new season. I mean, Toronto's coming off what? Most of their starters are coming off
2 weeks of rest.
3 weeks of rest.
3
weeks of rest, but including the bye they earned to get to the first to get to the championship game. So the East championship game. So I think
even in the game against Ottawa that they won by 5, most of their starters rested.
Yeah. So I think if the Alouettes come out quick and Toronto can't get a rhythm going, this game's going to be a lot closer than you think, and a lot closer than a lot of people think. I don't know what the odds are right now if there's a line.
All right, real-time research coming.
Real-time research coming. Here we go. I have to imagine the spread isn't more than it's probably going to be no more than 8.5. That's why I imagine. I don't know for sure. So, Brian will check it.
I'm checking this out now.
Yeah,
but I don't think it'll be more than 8 either.
No, I'll be surprised if it's more than 8.5.
But considering the fact that it is Toronto and everyone's expected the Toronto Argonauts to just bowl over the Alouettes to win the East, and not seeing the spread isn't out yet. The live spread isn't out yet. I'll still look, but 8.5 seems like the best number that would come out between these two, because as you said, it's the playoffs. It's a different animal.
Yeah.
And it's a rematch.
Yeah.
It's a rematch from last year's game. Speaking of rematch and speaking of animals, you got these two renewing acquaintances again. I believe this is the third straight year?
Second consecutive year, yeah.
Second consecutive year.
Yeah.
And it's at IG Field.
IG Field.
Yeah. Zach Collaros is Zach Collaros. Dalton Schoen is Dalton Schoen. And you got and they all the Bombers have to do is hold down a choppy BC offense, which can do what it did last week and ring up 41 points.
Yeah, I wasn't shocked, but I was also I thought Calgary could have kept that game a lot closer.
Yeah,
I honestly did, especially coming off, especially the first drive. It took only 3 plays to get a touchdown.
And
I thought, all right, they can get if they can manage to get one. They forced a 2-and-out against BC on BC's first possession of the game.
Matter of fact,
and they were driving.
The first possession, they picked him off. That one of the possession in the first half.
It was Calgary's second drive. It was Calgary's second drive. They picked off Jake Mayer and they didn't look back. They scored a touchdown the next 4 possessions.
And that was that.
That was that.
And that was that. You can't. You know, what does BC? I ask this. I ask this, and I'll ask this of BC. What can Vernon Adams and BC do to score what could be a monumental upset? Because BC hasn't won the Grey Cup, if my memory serves me correct, since 2011. And they won it at home.
And they beat Peg.
And they beat the Bombers.
Yeah.
They beat the Bombers by 11. 34-23 was that score. But How do they pull this one off?
Got to do the same thing. Got to do the same thing as they did last week. They gotta make sure Vernon's got to cook. Vernon Adams reminds me a lot of a younger version of Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
He can run the ball. He can throw. He throws great passes. When he's on, he's on. When he's in the zone, he's locked in. I mean, we saw it on Saturday. If you watched that game, I listened to the game on my way to my co-host Dustin. Shout out to Dustin, by the way. He was able to meet his goal and then some for the local children's hospital through Extra Life. So shout out to Dustin. Congratulations, buddy.
That is fabulous.
That is fabulous. But I think if the Lions can duplicate what they did last week, force turnovers from the Stampeder, force turnovers from the Bombers, limit them to field goals, not touchdowns, and Vernon Adams just plays his game like he did so effectively on Saturday afternoon or Saturday night, I think you see BC go to the Grey Cup. On the flip side of things, Bombers got to do what the Bombers got to do. Yeah, we've seen it all season from them. Zach Collaros has those big chunk plays. Brady Oliveira, who there's a little bit of controversy in Winnipeg right now as to who the most outstanding player was supposed to be for their team. The writers picked Brady Oliveira over Zach Collaros, but Oliveira had a great season.
You could give it to anybody on that team. I mean, who's complaining? You could give it to anybody on that team. 14-4 again, and then they host the Western Division final, and they see an old friend in BC. You can give that team MVP to anybody. Yeah.
I think this game comes down to the last 3 minutes. Honestly, from what I saw I just actually checked the weather for Saturday in Winnipeg. It's supposed to be a really nice day. So there won't be no weather. I don't think there's going to be any weather related conditions that's going to really force anybody to change their game. It's going to be a really nice afternoon into the evening in Winnipeg. And I think it's going to be a high scoring. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. It's going to come down to the last 3 minutes, and I won't give my prediction. I won't give any predictions.
Nor will I.
I think we'll save it for Saturday when we do our alternative play-by-play together.
Yep.
But I think this game I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I won't be surprised if both teams went up in the 30s. And I just think it's going to come down to the last 3 minutes.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 40-point game.
Yeah.
With the way these two offenses move. This could be BC and Miami from 84 all over again. You just tell the defenses, we got this. And whoever makes the final stop of the game or has the final possession of the game wins the game. Yep. Because when these two teams get together, crazy stuff happens. Doesn't matter if it's in BC, doesn't matter if it's in Winnipeg. And the last couple of West Finals in Winnipeg, weather was involved. Not Saturday.
It's going to
be nice,
clear, sunny day.
Not this Saturday. Now to the feature. And cringe, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Chargers and the Jets tonight.
Cringe.
Chargers are favored by 3. I didn't get a chance to correct this. But
you did that on purpose. You put San Diego there. You did that on purpose. Don't lie.
You're darn right I did. You're darn right I did.
Hey, Victor, is your cat detection tool going off, buddy? I'm just kidding.
No, because it's blunt. No, because with this, I think I've blown it to smithereens already.
Oh, it's over.
It's done.
Remember, kids, turn your alarms back this weekend and replace the batteries in your cat detection tool. So don't
And if you have more than one, change them all because it's necessary.
8:15
kickoff in the Meadowlands. San Diego favored by 3, but Brendan Staley is their coach.
He sure is. Why are the Chargers favored in this game?
Why are the Chargers favored in this? I mean,
I have no idea. Because it's the Jets. That's why. Because it's the Jets. because the odds makers hate the Jets. with a white hot burning passion of 1,000 supernovas. That's what it is.
He said 1,000 supernovas.
Yep, sure did. Quote me on that.
Gladly. Why
They also hit the fact that Aaron Rodgers. They hit the fact that Aaron Rodgers isn't there. Zach Wilson's playing quarterback. He's doing what? Look, you can talk all this talk about Zach Wilson, especially after last week's game, which was hot garbage, and then some. Hopefully, this week it's not hot garbage, and they'll come out of the gates flying. I know the San Diego has this 20. I think it's what's a 25th ranked passing defense in all of football. Their pass rush is okay, which to me kind of frightens me because it's the Chargers. It's the pass rush, and plus the just offensive line. My God,
do you see how
back to the same problem? It's the same problem again. It's patchwork. The one thing about Joe Douglas. He's hit on all the draft. He's hit on most of his draft picks, with the majority of his draft picks, 2020 outstanding. But he just can't seem to get the offensive line right in terms of health.
Why do you think that is? Since we're talking about Joe, why do you think that is? Why can't he hit on offensive linemen rather?
I have to wonder if he misjudges talent. Now, granted, Mekhi Becton has had an outstanding year so far. Had a bad game last week against the Giants. I think a lot of it had to do with the bye week. The Jets are, for some reason, under Robert Saleh, they are super slow out of the gate when it comes to the bye week. Happened last year, happened last week, and I'll say it: the Jets got lucky last week. I'm still in shock that they won that game.
You're in shock.
I mean, Giants fans still in shock, and oh my God! Oh, Daniel Jones out for the year, by the way, torn ACL.
Torn ACL.
I feel for any Giants fan, Wise Al Hepe included.
Me too. I feel for the Giants. I feel for Wise Giants fans to see this happen again at the quarterback position. And yes, I say again, because if you go back to 1990, they've had injury problems at the quarterback position. Remember, tail end in 90, they lost Phil Simms.
Yep.
They lost Phil Simms.
Jeff
Hostetler took him to the Super Bowl. Granted, got him a contract with the Raiders that he wasn't able to do anything with after 1993. But it just seems like when Daniel Jones was drafted, which got all sorts of boos, and last year he took him to the playoffs, took him to a playoff win, and then Philadelphia happened. They pay him. And then this happens. I mean, how much bad luck can one guy have?
It's astounding. I mean, look, Eli Manning didn't have that many injuries when he was a Giant.
No, Eli Manning was quite dependable.
Yesterday's injury was just he planted his foot incorrectly and he just went down. And what you can't blame the turf there because they play on natural grass at Legion Stadium.
It's natural grass out in Vegas.
Yeah. So it's just you plant your foot wrong, and you turn it just a tiny bit just to kind of get things going, and all of a sudden pop.
El Snapo.
Yeah.
El Snapo.
And the next play he goes back to pass in the pocket and he just falls down. And gets touched by Max Crosby, and that's it. Over. I wonder who the Giants are going to sign as kind of Tyrod Taylor's on the IR, which means Tommy DeVito is your quarterback
for the time being, and I put that in quotes for right now.
A Giants fan, Carson Wentz is available. And yes, I'm saying this with a straight face. Carson Wentz is available.
I'm going to try to say this with a straight face. Hey, Giants fan, Matt Ryan's available. Well, not anymore. He's in the booth.
He never filled out the retirement paper, so he's still eligible.
True. He's still eligible. But why would you want to take a chance? And right now, with your suggestion of Carson Wentz, every Giants fan is thinking this. Got me up.
If I smoked blunts, I'd take one out right now and light one up. Hi,
Can
Mom and
y'all
Dad.
imagine Ryan? Can y'all imagine Ryan McCarthy doing that?
Oh my gosh. Mia Toker. Ooh, that's a rough life right there. I don't know. No.
Mia Toker. Good grief.
Oof.
I've never experimented with it. I never will. Had a few beers in my lifetime. I have a bunch of coffee left in my lifetime. Thank the Lord for that. Speaking of which, what was your brew today?
I had the pecan pumpkin from Invader Coffee. I gotta order more. Actually, their Christmas flavors are coming out soon. I can't wait. Some of their
Me
best
neither.
coffees are there too. So.
Me neither.
So before we go on to dovetail to the next issue, to the next thing on the slate, I just want to mention a couple things. Number one,
yes.
I'm gonna get A Pizzle. If A Pizzle's watching, you're gonna be riled up. I don't care.
Oh no.
The Miami Dolphins. I compared this I put this on Twitter yesterday. I put this in the old social medias yesterday. I didn't get any reactions because probably don't want to listen to me. But have you noticed there's a correlation between these Miami Dolphins and the Detroit Lions of the 1990s with the run and shoot offense?
Yep.
Where they absolutely clobber the teams that are complete garbage, but when it comes to teams that are of higher quality and better coaching, they collapse.
It's like the Cowboys. I swear to you, it's like the Cowboys. It's feast or famine. And after that 70-point, I'll say it plainly, forgive me, ass whooping that they put on Denver, but by God, it's Denver.
It's Denver.
It's Denver.
Oh, to be fair, Denver's played a lot better since.
I believe that when I see it. I mean, I ain't sold on them playing better.
They beat the Chiefs.
Chiefs beat themselves. I went back and watched the game. Mahomes was just so uncharacteristically off in that game.
So that's my one observation. So yeah, that's my one observation. But the Dolphins, I can't respect you as a Super Bowl contender until, and I'm not saying this as a Jets fan. I'm saying this as an observer of football.
Same.
All right.
Same.
Second, yeah, I can't respect them. I can't take them seriously as a Super Bowl or playoff contender until they beat a team that has a record of above 500.
Which means they're going to have problems facing the Buffalo Bills again in their own division.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they got to play the Jets on Black Friday.
And they play the Jets on Black Friday, which means 2 consecutive L's in the division. Speaking of which, Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks got doubled up by McCarthy's Devils last night. 4-2 was the final in the United Center, but we saw 2 very big stars go at it last night in the UC. And I'm going to put a prediction on top of all predictions out there. Do not be surprised. Within 3 years' time, these 2 are playing for a big fat trophy.
I wouldn't be surprised either. And look, this is the Devils team that won without their 2 best players. Jack Hughes, who's week to week with an upper body injury. Hopefully he gets better. Hopefully
I hope so.
God. And Nico Hischier, who's day to day with an upper body injury. So I'm hoping he returns to the lineup next week. But yeah, this was I watched the most of the good majority of the second period, and yeah, I got said Blackhawks are a tough team to play.
Yeah, this is a future Stanley Cup. Within 3 years, this is a Stanley Cup final. Within 3 years, all the same thing the Blackhawks did when they drafted Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane. They got to do the same with Connor Bedard and company. They have to find some more consistent goaltending. You know how I feel about goal. You know how I feel about goaltending. When we had Corey, hell, I'll go back as far as I started watching hockey. When we had Murray Bannerman, Eddie the Eagle Belfour, Corey Crawford from the Stanley Cup era, Anthony Niemi, who got his first Stanley Cup with the Blackhawks in 2010.
Yep.
Goaltending has been one of the calling cards for the Blackhawks, and they have to find it.
Don't forget Nikolai Habibulin was with
Nikolai Habibulin. Yep. Nikolai Habibulin was with this as well. That's got to be the solution for both teams. They got to get some. Oh my gosh! And the Dominic Hasek, where are you?
Yeah. Somewhere in Czechia doing something.
What happened to the days of Dominic Hasek and Eddie the Eagle Belfour, Eddie Eagle Belfour going at it?
Oh, they're coming back.
I hope so. I hope so. But I'm laying this prediction out there. It's going to be. It won't be long before these two are entertaining each other in the Stanley Cup final. I see it coming, and you can see it with the. Let's start with the Blackhawks. They're going to be the same, if not better, than the dynasty team. They just got to fill in some blanks on a couple of the different lines. They have the replacement for Taves, of course, is Connor Bedard. Now they have to find the piece that'll be Patrick Kane. They have to find the piece that'll be Duncan Keith, Brett Seabrook. They got a couple in their farm system. They got to get them some playing time. Meanwhile, for the Devils, you got Jack Hughes, as you mentioned. They got to get they got to solidify the third and fourth lines, because if you take a look at last night's game, the time where the Blackhawks felt like they could get back in it was during the time the Devils had their third and fourth lines on the ice. So you got to get solid on all four lines. And again, it goes back to what we talked about a moment ago. The goaltending has got to be solved for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, there's one guy I kind of have my radar. He was mentioned last night in the game, was Kevin Korchinski. I believe he's a rookie this year. He's only 19 years old, but I think he's going to be your Duncan Keith or Keith Seabrook. Duncan Keith or
Brett Seabrook.
Brett Seabrook. Thank you. I couldn't think of the name for the first name for a second, but yeah, he's going to be one of your guys. You just need to find that other pillar of the defense. Who's going to be there.
Because for the longest time, Duncan, I think 16 years, Duncan Keith was just it for us on defense. Duncan Keith was our anchor on defense. They get a couple of more of those anchors, and watch out. Don't be surprised if it comes down to the last day when we see the Blackhawks either get left behind in the playoffs or they sneak in. It's going to come down to the last day. The way they're playing right now, the way they're playing with this much energy, there's so many games that they've lost, and the only blowout was against Arizona in Phoenix. That's the only blowout they've had on their record so far. Every other game they've been in, and they own a victory over the Vegas Golden Knights in Vegas. They own an overtime victory, which is giving them a ton of confidence right now. So it'll come down to the last day, but I think the Hawks can sneak into the Western playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, wild card spot is is always a wild card.
It is.
I mean, the West is so good though, with so many good teams. But I think this year
they are so stacked. Colorado, Vegas, Dallas. Oh my gosh.
San Jose.
San Jose.
Sorry, I'm just kidding. They allowed 10 goals in consecutive games.
Figure that out, folks.
Vancouver's coming around. They're starting to.
The Vancouver Canucks are back.
Yeah,
you need to bring back the old uniforms. They bring back the old uniforms. Yeah, I like the old ones better than the ones they have now.
The orange skate.
Yep, the orange and black skate. All right, headed for the second hour. That's Ryan McCarthy joining us, talking all kinds of stuff, including hockey. And yes, we talk hockey on this program.
Wait, a black man talking hockey? All right, I'll wait.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I was not ready. Shame on me. I brought everything. I queued it all the way up and hit it.
Wait. A black man talking hockey?
Always have to work that in. Thank you, brother. Love you very, very much. I can't wait to team up with you on Saturday. Thanks, my friend.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Snowman.